Welcome to the Atheist Chronicles, a video blog by yours truly, Paul Lima. If you want to know more about me, go to my website, paullima.com. It's not all about atheism, trust me. In fact, very little on it is about atheism. However, if you go to paullima.com/books, you can see the book upon which this video blog is based and 25 other books that I've written. If you want to email me, whether you agree, disagree with what I have to say, email paulmslima@gmail.com. So again, this is the Atheist Chronicles video blog. It is based on the book, The Atheist Chronicles, by yours truly. The book is called The Atheist Chronicles, Why the Beliefs of Theists of Every Stripe are so unbelievable. And you can read more about that book at paullima.com/books. Scroll down the page, find the book, click on the link, and you can read about it. Now, if you think, oh, well, Paul is just doing this video blog to sell his copies of the book, I'm not. You can buy print, EPUB, or Kindle versions of the Atheist Chronicles, but I am giving away free PDFs. If you want a PDF of the Atheist Chronicles, all you have to do is email paulmslima@gmail.com, and in the subject line, put in Atheist PDF. You will get a PDF of the book, and I promise no other email. I am not setting you up for spam. I promise you that. I'm just giving away free PDFs of the Atheist Chronicle. So if you want a copy, email paulmslima@gmail.com, and I will give you a copy of the book. Tell you a little bit more about the book before I talk about atheism. The Atheist Chronicles, the table of contents, includes the introduction, which I will be reading from, and then a chapter called In the Beginning. And if that sounds biblical, it is. Then we look at the number of gods. Do you know how many gods there are? How many gods there have been? My God, if there was a true divine being, you think there would be one. But no, there are thousands. And we look at the number of religions. The religions and the sects of the various religions, again, we're looking at thousands, all claiming to be the one true religion. Then, of course, we look at the Bible itself. The Atheist Chronicles focuses on fundamentalist Christianity, but it does talk about other religions. And we look at the Bible because, how shall I put this? If you are an atheist and you want to reinforce atheism, the Bible is your main source. It's absolutely ridiculous, and the chapter called the Bible will look at the ridiculousness of the Bible. Then we move to violence in the name of God. Yes, good Christians, love, peace, honor, obey, are rather violent people. Then we look at why people are religious, and I can almost understand it in the beginning, pre-science. You know, like, why did the sun come up? Why is the moon up? Why is it half a moon, full moon, no moon? People didn't have answers. And so they made up religion to answer their questions that are now answered by science. And hey, I'm not saying science gets everything right, but when science gets something wrong, the scientists will admit it. Oh, we got that wrong. This is the way it should be. This is what the current facts are pointing us to. Try to get religious people to do that. And we look at Christians abusing Christians. These people who preach love and kindness and respect and peace have abused each other and continue to abuse each other. And I am not the most intellectual, wisest, most intelligent atheist that there is. So I give you quotes by other people, quotes on atheism by other people who are a little more intelligent than I am. And then we look at your choice. And you have a choice to be an atheist or a theist. I obviously fall on the atheist side of the debate, but it's your choice, and we have some final words. So what I would like to do now is read from the introduction to the Atheist Chronicles. Hi, I'm reading here from the introduction to the Atheist Chronicles. I was raised a fundamentalist Christian, a Pentecostal, that's the name of the religion that I was raised in, a theist, in other words. My father believed that the earth is 6,000 years old. In other words, God made the earth and the universe in 6 days, 6,000 years ago. That would make the television series of Flintstones, a world in which human beings and dinosaurs coexisted, a documentary. On the seventh day, the Sabbath, God rested, and we all had to go to church every Sunday ever since. Unless you are Jewish. If so, you do your worshiping at the synagogue on Saturday. Mind you, if you're Muslim, Friday is your holy day. My goodness, God gets a 3-day weekend. Adam and Eve lived in the Garden of Eden, my father believed. Eve was tempted by the snake, a creature with no arms or legs and no ability to speak, as far as we know. She was tempted to eat the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil that grew in the garden. I think we'd all agree that there is good and evil in the world, but evidently humans should not have eaten of this fruit, as we should not be able to tell the difference between the two ways of being. As far as I'm concerned, Eve did not eat enough fruit off this tree. In other words, I think we need to know the difference between good and evil, and you don't have to be a Christian to live a good life. Anyway, into this fundamentalist belief, I was born. In fact, I was raised as an Italian Pentecostal. In a world where almost every Italian who is religious is Catholic, my family was a rare breed. We were part of a congregation of about 400 who attended the Italian Pentecostal Church at the corner of College and Montrose in Toronto, Canada. If you know the church and its location, you might say, wait a minute, wasn't there another Italian Pentecostal church on Ossington Avenue, just south of Bloor Street, less than 10 blocks from your church? I'd have to nod my head in agreement. The other Italian Pentecostal church had a congregation of about 200. However, these were the only 2 Italian Pentecostal churches in Toronto when I was growing up. By comparison, there are over 200 Catholic churches in the city. So Italian Pentecostals are rare indeed. If so rare, you are probably wondering, why were there 2 Italian Pentecostal churches located in such close proximity? The answer is simple. This area of Toronto is known as Little Italy, so it made sense for both churches to locate where the Italians lived in Toronto. But why 2 churches instead of one large Italian Pentecostal church? To answer that question, you need to know that Italian Pentecostals who attended the church on Ossington believed that you had to drain the blood from chicken before you cooked it. The members of our congregation did not believe that. That's why there were 2 groups of churches, 2 groups of Italian Pentecostals, a minuscule set of fundamentalist Christians, who are a sect of Christians, who are one sect of scores of religious factions in the world. So each Italian Pentecostal congregation held different beliefs about what you had to do with the chicken before cooking it. Of course, being good Christians, the members of each church believed that the members of the other church would, for their erroneous belief, rot in hell. With that in mind, I feel like I could end the book here. With 2 congregations of fundamentalists, each believing in the same God as described in the same Bible, thinking each other was going to hell, all because of chicken blood. If that is not grounds for atheism, then nothing is. But I will carry on with the Atheist Chronicles and outline the rationale for rabbit theism and religion and my reasons for rabid atheism. But first I want to tell you when and why I lost my faith. I clearly remember the day. I was about 6 years old and a fervent believer in someone more important to me than God or Jesus. I remember a cousin, about 2 years older than I was, whisking me down a dark hall in the house where I grew up. He had something important to tell me. In the darkness of that hallway, he whispered in my ear 5 words that I will never forget. There is no Santa Claus. I was totally devastated to learn that Santa Claus was fiction that our parents told us as a way to get us to behave all year long, unless we wanted lumps of coal in our stockings on Christmas morning. From there, it was not much of a stretch to atheism. No Santa Claus, no God, no Jesus, no heaven or hell, no carrot or stick prodding one to live by all the strange rules of Pentecostal religion. And let me tell you, if I can digress, there were many strange rules. My father thought it was a sin to dance. My father thought it was a sin to go to the movies. So as a kid growing up, I couldn't go to movies. When I went to high school, I couldn't go to high school dances unless I snuck off to them. Mind you, my father thought it was okay to drink wine. Rules? Arbitrary? I think so. Anyway, that did not mean, released from the rules of religion, I became a juvenile delinquent, a criminal, or even an asshole. At least not a big one. In other words, you don't have to be a Christian to be a good person. After all, we have secular laws to keep us in place, and some people are just nice. I like to think I'm one of the nice people. And I find that most people, and not all people, are inherently decent. In fact, some of the biggest jerks I know are members of the so-called religious right, the people who found in their hearts the ability to vote for the opposite of everything their religion allegedly stands for by electing Donald Trump, a lying, racist, sexist, belligerent, ignorant sinner, as President of the United States of America. If that too is not grounds for atheism, that Christians can actually vote for that a-hole, then nothing is. And hey, I'm sorry, if you're a Trump supporter and an atheist, then please excuse me. You can tell I was not a big fan of Donald Trump, even though I'm not American. But I digress. This is not a book about politics. So with that digression out of the way, I will return to my look at atheism and the grounds for it, and my look at theism and the grounds against it. This book primarily addresses monotheist religious zealots known as fundamentalist Christians. However, it cannot do that without some background on the history and evolution of religion, and it will touch on other religious sects and how they, and then now and then to give the evolution of religious beliefs and God worship necessary context. But I just want to say about Pentecostalism. My father believed it was the one true religion. He traced the origins of Pentecostalism back to the day of Pentecost in the Bible. Now, if you know anything about the evolution of religion, you know there was no Protestant, there was no Pentecostalism, there was only I can't even say the word, Catholics, whatever it's called. There were only Catholics for hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of years before Martin Luther nailed his protest to a church door. But my father believed that Pentecostalism was the one true religion. So all the rest of you Christians who are not Pentecostals, you're all going to hell. Hope you don't mind. So that was the introduction with a few digressions from the Atheist Chronicles. What I would like to do is just talk to fundamentalists, New Testament believers, and believers in God, And I separate the three of them. Fundamentalists, as you can tell, believe that the Bible is the Word of God. They believe everything. In fact, if Jack and the Beanstalk was in the Bible, they would believe that Jack climbed up a beanstalk and slayed a dragon. Now, fundamentalists may be laughing at that. But you believe in Noah's Ark. The world was flooded. All the animals in the world came 2 by 2 into the ark. They fit into the ark, including, I guess, the kangaroos, who at the end of the flood had to hop all the way back to Australia. Anyway, I think you get my point. Your fundamentalist beliefs are, sad to say, kind of loony. Now, there are people who believe in just the New Testament. They will say to you, yeah, the Old Testament, there was some myth in that, and there were some stories in that, but the New Testament is true. Virgin birth, miracles, died on the cross, and 3 days later came back to life. That's the truth. So Jesus gave up a long weekend to save our souls. Revelations. New Testament believers, have you read Revelations? My God. Talk about science fiction writing. I think Revelations was the first science fiction book. And I know you all put down Jehovah's Witnesses and their belief that 144,000 people only will go to heaven. It's in Revelations. So people read the Bible, whether they're fundamentalists or New Testament believers, they cherry pick when they read the Bible. They find what they want to believe in. So I cherry pick too. I find nothing in the Bible that I want to believe in. And then there are those people who believe in God. They will tell you that the Bible is a work of fiction, but there is a God. And hey, if by God you mean something sparked the universe at the beginning that caused it to form and evolve, I have no argument with you. If by God, if you believe in a being who created a heaven and hell, and you're going to heaven and I'm going to hell, even though I am a rather nice and decent person, then I got a few bones to pick with you. There is no God, and I'm not going to tell you that I know what sparked the universe. If there was some mystical, magical power that sparked it, and that was the end of the power, and then we have carried on and evolved, fine. But if there was some mystical, magical power that sparked the beginning of the universe, and then created a heaven and a hell so he could send me to hell and take you to heaven, sorry folks, as I say, I have a problem with that. Anyway, this has been the Atheist Chronicles video blog. Again, if you want a free PDF of the book, email paulmslima@gmail.com with the subject line Atheist PDF, and I will happily send you a PDF copy of the Atheist Chronicles. Again, you'll get the free PDF and no other email. I'm not looking to spam anybody. That much I can tell you. So this has been the video blog, the Atheist Chronicles. If you are a theist, if you are a believer, email me. Let's talk about it. paulmslima@gmail.com. And hey, if you are an atheist and you enjoyed this video blog, email me and let me know. Or if you're an atheist and you thought this video blog sucked, email and let me know. Anyway, have a good day. Take care. Bye now.